Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. I hope everybody's doing well. I didn't get a chance to comment last night about or give my final thoughts on the third. Was that the third and final debate? I think each of them did their own town hall because Joe was leery about being around President's super spreader. Um, but it was very sad. It was very sad. It was of the likes like you had never seen before. I said, this fool is really crazy. Now, I was surprised that he did not completely go off the rails. He didn't. They had him very heavily sedated, apparently. And apparently, there was some sort of technical glitch or malfunction because it didn't seem to me as if anyone's mute button was working. Because once again, they chose a female moderator. Her name escapes me. I don't know her name. But it just seemed to me, once again, he was being disrespectful to a woman. I recently just saw a clip of Connie Chong talking about how he was disrespectful to her. Women make him very uncomfortable. It's almost as if he knows that they see him. We see you. Okay. So he talks some crazy, but then again, Connie Chong also countered that he also talks crazy to Dr. Fauci too, and about Dr. Fauci. But some of the highlights of this debate is this. He does not take responsibility for everything he wants to do, that he has done and allowed. He wants to continue to place blame on China for allowing the quote unquote China virus to come into the United States. He tries to blame Joe Biden for not wanting to close the borders. You're the president. Why didn't you close the borders? He also tries to liken this pandemic to that of the H1N1 flu. Let me put it this way. I haven't looked it up. I never even thought about H1N1 flu. I didn't know it was that critical. He also does not seem to care about human lives at all, other than his very own, because he is very selfish and self-centered. Because he just casually threw out there that, well, the model said it would be about 250,000 deaths. Yeah, but I don't think anyone just wanted to die in a pandemic and be a statistic. I just don't see that. He lied on Dr. Fauci, claiming that Dr. Fauci said we didn't need to wear a mask. I've never recalled or heard a report where Dr. Fauci may have said that. Maybe Dr. Fauci told him that if you in fact shut down the country for 30 to 45 days, perhaps we could avoid this altogether and not fall prey to the coronavirus, which is now here and spreading rapidly throughout the United States. Because for some reason, no one wants to believe we're in a pandemic. And the reason why a lot of people don't want to believe it is because they don't know anyone that has dropped dead from it. Or they do, and they don't care because they refuse to live their lives in a bubble. I had a young man tell me that, and I told him we not going to make it. There's no need to try to even meet up. Okay? So that's the problem with people like the Trump family in general. They don't want to wear masks. They don't want to admit that we have a crisis here and it's worldwide. He wants to tell us that other nations have congratulated him on having handled the virus very well. I was like, what piss poor performance are you talking about? You talking about your pagan buddy, Putin? I swear they got to be pagan buddies. They do. They just got to be. He also called India filthy when they were talking about climate change and how fracking isn't that bad. We'll let a good earthquake hit New York and knock down Trump Towers. Let's see how you feel about fracking then. But then again, you would deny it and say that perhaps Godzilla was underneath the earth moving and shaking it. I don't know. Some super predator of sorts. One of the good things that did come out of this debate is the fact that former Vice President Joe Biden stated that he is sorry about the crime bill of 1994 because once again we go down a rabbit hole with President COVID, the obscurant, and he wants to bring that up again. And he says that he has freed more people because of the crime bill. And come to find out, President Obama's administration had freed about 38,000 federal prisoners who had been prosecuted under the crime bill. Joe Biden also stated that he, which I was glad to hear him say this, like myself, believe that when people get picked up for drugs, they should not be getting prosecuted for drugs. They should be getting mental health treatment and detox and the things that they need to support them. Yes, you voluntarily may start to consume certain things, but it is still an illness. And some people that do end up consuming drugs, one of the things I found that was prevalent is that oftentimes it's a self-medication thing because they can't afford the medications they need to be on to keep them stable mentally. So that's one of the things that I was glad to see him apologize for, because I'm like, maybe now we can move forward. We should not be always defined by our past. If I hear him say one more time, he has done more, no president has ever done more for black people since Abraham Lincoln than I have. Sir, it is patently obvious now that you have not read any history books or even watched, National Geographic or some Discovery Channel of some sort. It is a known fact that President Lincoln, while we thank God that he freed our ancestors, he did say that if he could have saved the South without freeing the slaves, he would. It was an economic hurt. He wanted to greatly impact the South and hurt them and make them rejoin the Union. That's why. Otherwise, it's 2020. We all possibly could still be picking cotton. And you know that Lindsey Graham seems to think that pre-segregation is the good old days. And Amy Coney Barrett did nothing to correct him on it. Speaking of which, let's also talk about Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. As many of you know, the Affordable Care Act was actually supposed to be a socialist act. Healthcare was supposed to be free. Healthcare was not supposed to be a burden, as far as if you don't have it, you will be taxed for it. It wasn't supposed to be done on a sliding scale. It was just supposed to be something that was available to U.S. citizens, because all of us pay into the system. We pay taxes. We do all of that. And therefore, we should be entitled to health care. Other first world countries have socialist programs like that. Healthy citizens are productive citizens. Educated citizens are, Lord, I got this fur baby harassing me. Come on. Come on. You know how to get up here. Come on. Hold on, y'all. Everybody say hi to Miss Pumpkin. She wants to be seen. And yes, that's a paper towel. She keeps scratching at this thing on her neck, and it keeps bleeding. So anyway, all I'm saying is this, is that, lost my train of thought thanks to you, Miss Pumpkin. Oh, Obamacare. It wasn't supposed to be something that we got taxed on. It wasn't supposed to be something, it was just supposed to be there. Unfortunately, he had opposition. I was glad that Joe Biden straight up said, you know why? Because the Republicans opposed it. But the good thing is, at least pre-existing conditions, have been included. However, we learned through context clues and through posturing and hemming and hawing that essentially the reason why President COVID wants to, quote unquote, deface the Affordable Care Act, which has the generic name of Obamacare, is because the first black president created it. He didn't, and he wants it to have his name. He said we shouldn't even call it Obamacare anymore. It should be Trump Care. He didn't say that, but I've heard him say that before, where he said it should be Trump Care. And I'm just like, you don't care. There should be nothing with care and Trump in it ever. The problem is this, y'all. We have a reality star that is unhinged. He is not very learned. He chooses to remain ignorant in the dark about a lot of things. He also stated that the IRS treats him very badly. Really now. I say being able to pay $750 in federal tax, they're doing very kindly to you if they haven't launched a audit on your ass. I too would like to just pay $750 in taxes. In 2011, I went to an accountant in 2008, 2009. In 2011, that 2007 return is what it was that was filed in 2008. Came back to bite me in the ass because she fucked up. The IRS took all of my paycheck except for maybe 290, I want to say 320, 200 and something, all because of an error that they did, not paying attention, and also the accountant too, because I gave her all of my tax documents, including, the amended, I forgot what it's called, the corrected W-2. She put both of them in a packet, the IRS totaled them up, and then came back and said, you owe like $11,000. I don't owe $11,000. I had to hire one of my really good friends who is an excellent tax attorney, CPA, to get him to go in and get the IRS to fix that shit and make them stop taking my paycheck. My only saving grace is that I had enough money in the bank, because they didn't go after my bank accounts. I had enough money in the bank where I could still be okay if the motherfuckers had came back and kept taking my check. So you talk about the IRS treating you badly, because I called them first and they would not talk to me. They were very rude and nasty. They treated me very badly. But I gave power of attorney over to my tax attorney, got that shit taken care of. But they treat him badly. Also, I wish he would stop telling people he is now immune from the coronavirus. Here's the facts. There is no immunity for the coronavirus as it stands now. You can catch it again. It's just like the common cold, only that's not some shit you want to catch, because apparently at some point, depending on how your body is situated and your genetic makeup, you might end up on a ventilator and die. He played too much. He also claims that Lil Barron, well, he ain't so little, but Pope Barron, I think we need to call CPS for him, claims that Barron also had the virus, but he was fine in 3 days just like him. I was like, oh, so now y'all Jesus up from the grave, you arose. Okay. Refugees and immigration. He is now an expert on immigration. According to him, Joe Biden knows nothing about immigration law. I would hope if you've been sitting in Congress or serving in public office for at least 40 years, you would know something about immigration law. But I thought about it. I say he probably do know something about immigration law, especially if people are coming from Eastern Europe. Okay. Everyone is a thug and a criminal unless they coming from certain parts of the world. And quite frankly, my bet is on Eastern Europe. Here's a buzzword for you. Coyotes. He was not talking about an actual animal when he was talking about refugees and immigrants being brought over here illegally at a price. $1,200 on average is how much a coyote, an individual who chooses to participate in bringing those across the border. That's what a coyote is, and they're compensated for every person. And those people or whoever is sponsoring them have to pay that $1,200. Those are coyotes. That's what he was talking about. Just to show you that he's in touch with slang. What else did I note about him? Oh, when we were talking about closing the border, he's like, I don't have xenophobia. You got something. You got a lot of phobias. You really worried about a lot of stuff. You really are. And one of the things he's worried about is the fact that Joe Biden raised more money than him. He was really pressed about that. I said, I hope that Mike Bloomberg gives everything he possibly can to the Biden-Harris campaign at this point and blow your ass out the water. Another thing that was concerning about this debate, I keep looking at my notes. Another thing that was concerning about this debate that really concerned me and helped me understand, if you understand this, if you watch this on the playback or if you're watching now, why did he keep saying he wants schools open? Is there really a huge economic value in having our nation's children go back into classrooms full-fledged, all willy-nilly? Or is it a matter of population control? That was very concerned because he said it more than once, not to mention in the likes of which you've never seen, okay? Vaccine is coming. It's going to be called Operation Warp Speed. The military will be in charge of administering it, and the generals are lined up. I said, but you said the military had a bunch of losers in it, especially any of those who died, number one, in action, or number two, came up MIA. But now all of a sudden you want to use the military to give some bogus ass vaccine to people. I ain't taking it. And if they say I got to take it, I'm going to be seeking refuge in Cuba or somewhere. I love how Joe Biden played on Proud Boys. They're now the poor boys. Most of them probably are. He also commented on the fact that domestic violence and suicide rates are up, and he doesn't understand why. He tried to blame Joe Biden. No, it's because of you. It's because of you. Had you done what you needed to do in October when you knew this threat was coming, we wouldn't all have to be confined at the house. With our significant others. I don't have one, so I'm not pressed about that. I just have a Shih Tzu that likes to harass me every day. I love my baby, but sometimes I'd be like, girl, I'm trying to work. Don't nobody want to see you on the conference call, but you always got to be seen. He also tried to liken the COVID virus to that of H1N1. I don't see it. Sounds like apples and oranges to me. He also kept bringing up Hunter Biden and what was it, Burisma, whatever it was, the Ukrainian company that he got entangled with. It was just a shit show. I mean, he was, as someone pointed out, calmer, but I said, you tranquilize him well enough, dope his ass up, he can be calm. But I just don't see how, after seeing this, the disrespect to the moderator, how he loves to mudsling and name call and try to pander to a poor base. Because the thing is, when he was saying that, the IRS treats me badly, and then other people are like, oh my God, the IRS treats me badly too. Oh my God, I can totally relate to President Trump. I tell you what, Biden was right in bringing up the fact. He said 520. A news report, I said there are 545 children that have been displaced due to this whole separating migrant and immigrant workers from their children. And my best bet is that those 545 kids, your mom and daddy might be dead, because it was a little Holocaustish going on, some shit going on down there. Like they were doing medical experiments on these people. Your mom and daddy might be dead. 2, the children that are separated. The goal is to probably get them adopted for a price. Who knows? I don't know. This is just speculation and conspiracy theory. But it is really sad that these pro-lifers claim to be pro-life when you're in the womb, before you even get here, before you're even fully formed or concerned. But once you get out the womb, buddy, on your own. They should have been down there at those borders protesting. They should have been in D.C. at the fence line of the White House protesting, but they did nothing. They just sat back and said that our God, the obscurant, is keeping us safe from those dangerous border people. That's why I said some of y'all need to be very careful about calling yourselves Christians. I was waiting, honestly, for a lightning bolt to come down through Belmont University and shoot shit out his ass. I really was, because he lies so much. And I said, maybe I should try that during my annual review this year and just say, look, I came in here and in likes of which you never seen, I cleaned up all of my accounts. But AFIYA, you still got like 200 audit exceptions. No, I don't. That is not my fault. That is not my fault. But anyways, y'all, those are my brief thoughts. I got to get back to work. Just had to take a break and come sit out on the patio. It's still warm out here. And just debrief about this whole presidential debate. I don't think we needed it. I think we know what's going on. And Facebook, I don't know if y'all saw it on your Instagram and Facebook feed. Facebook said they are now putting guidelines up from now until after the election, I think until the 3rd or 4th, to limit what you can advertise. Too little, too late. Y'all have already been pandering to the conservative base. You've allowed them to spread misinformation. Twitter has done a better job of managing fake news and uninformative, ill-informed propaganda and lies that are being spread. And that's just the bottom line. So it's too little, too late, Mark Zuckerberg. I hope and pray that the Winklevoss twins at some point find you and kick your ass at some point. Maybe they already did. I don't know. But what you have allowed, it is so disappointing because you have so many misinformed people. And once again, taxes. If you don't make $400,000 a year, you ain't got shit to worry about. Now, what I would like for the Democrats to tackle is not only health care, but we also need to reevaluate our student loan program. I'm $250-some thousand in debt from student loans. I can't pay that. I was hoping while I was here in the ATL, I might run up on a Falcon that might want an older woman or something, but that shit ain't happening yet. Hell, at this point, I'll even take, what's the basketball team name? Shit, I don't even know. Hell, maybe the soccer team, somebody. But either way, y'all know what I'm saying. I'm not going to pay that. I can't afford to pay that. But we need to have that built back into the bankruptcy code. And we also need to have, for those who have been out of school and interest has been accruing, they just need to stop trying to collect interest. You either need to make it, just take what you got. Or use a portion of my income tax that you take to pay for it, something. The tax code needs to be overhauled. They also need to reevaluate what the poverty level is. $7.25 is not a livable wage anywhere now. Okay, I take that back. Maybe South Dakota, North Dakota, something like that, or Iowa. I don't know. But, yeah, that's not livable. And $15 an hour in California is not livable. I would say 25 should be the minimum, quite frankly. But anyways, those are just things that I think that we all should consider. Yes, we all signed up for the debt. But one of the things I was telling people in general when it comes to student loans is the fact that our parents, at least I know my parents, they don't have student loan debt. You talk to my aunts and uncles, they don't know what you're talking about. My generation and probably a generation above me, maybe kids that went to school in the 80s and 90s for college, we all got screwed. And it's really sad. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfair. But something needs to be done because I'm paying for a condo I will never live in, essentially, or a townhouse since I'm in Atlanta. So anyways, y'all have a great day. Have a happy Friday. I am going to get back in here and do some more work. I got a lot of phone calls to make because my beneficiaries don't seem to understand that I was out of office for a week. Just leaving voicemails like my out of office is on. But y'all, okay. Nobody bothered to listen to the voicemail where I said call my backup. Anyways, talk to y'all later. Happy Friday.